Ms. Lindsey, you say that after years of lies from your mother and uncertainty about who your father is, you believe you finally found him.
Yes, Your Honor.
You say everyone in town, including his family, knows Mr. Dannenbrink is your father, and you intend to prove that today. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Mr. Dannenbrink.
Yes, Your Honor.
You admit to having a sexual relationship with Ms. Lindsey's mother, but say there is no way you're her biological father.
That's right, Your Honor. I met her, and we just had like a hit-and-run situation. She disappeared on me, and then we got back together again, and a couple of days later, she went her way, and it just kept on for years that way. And there's no way she could be my daughter, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Lindsey, what do you mean everyone in town knows that he's your father? What do you mean by that?
Your Honor, okay, so about 35 years ago, my mom does admit to having a child with Mr. Dannenbrink. And
how many years ago?
About 35, around there.
Okay.
And when I was about 16 years old, an ex of Mr. Dannenbrink's came to my house and accused me of being the child that they had had together. And when I had asked my mother about that, she told me no, that it wasn't true.
You were 16?
Yes.
And an ex of Mr. Dannenbrink's comes to your house?
Yes.
And says, you're the child that your mother had with Mr. Dannenbrink?
Yes, Your Honor.
In other words, the ex thinks you're the child that came in between her and Mr. Dannenbrink?
Yes, Your Honor.
When she said this to you, what did you say?
Well, at first I was like, what? You're wrong. There's no way. And I came to my mother and I talked to her about it, and she told me no, that he was not my father, that another man that she had told me was my dad.
She said this other man is your father, but you'd never met that man?
No, I still haven't, so I don't know who that is.
Okay, proceed.
So about 4 or 5 years ago, we all pretty much met up again in church, and I knew that Mr. Dannenbrink was the person that I had thought, or at least was accused of being the child of, but I was too nervous to approach him for pretty much rejection. And so I just left it alone. And then my mother and him had started talking again, and we became more close, I guess you would say. We lived right next door to each other, and we started having barbecues together and spent a few holidays together and things like that.
The man next door, your neighbor.
Yes.
You believe he's your biological father.
Yes.
But you've never said anything to him.
Not really.
Wow. Ms. Hampton?
Yes.
What was the nature of your relationship with Mr. Dannenbrink? Were you just dating, committed?
Your Honor, this was like in the late 70s, and we dated off and on, and I was involved with somebody else, and he was involved with somebody else. 5 years ago, we met back up and started having conversation and platonic relationship. We're best of friends.
So, Mr. Dannenbrink, did you know about the pregnancy?
I did not, Your Honor. She never told me that she was pregnant. She never told me I even had a child.
You didn't
Your
tell
Honor,
him you were
Your
pregnant?
Honor, I had no reason to tell him because he's not the father.
So you were confident of that?
Yes, I am 100%.
But were you sleeping with Mr. Dannenbrink during the window of conception?
Not as far as I know. I believe that I got pregnant between June and July.
What are you holding, Ms. Lindsey?
I'm holding a calendar.
Jerome, will you please hand me her evidence? Thank you.
You're welcome.
What does this calendar outline?
This calendar shows, for one, the day that I was born. And if you count back, if I was born full term, the conception would be between May and June. And the doctors did say that I was born a month premature, which puts my due date at March 11th, which my mother would be right at that time. However, I had no health problems when I was born. I was born at a normal weight.
No,
and
Your Honor, she was born at 5 1/4 pounds.
All of your children have been small.
She was premature.
Mr. Dannenbrink?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you agree with the dates set forth on this calendar?
I really couldn't tell you because back then it was hectic. I mean, I had so much going on. That
it was hectic.
Yes. It was back in the 70s, so I'm sure you understand what.
No, I was just a kid then, so.
I did a lot of drugs back then, so I really couldn't tell you.
Oh, Oh, so hectic has many levels.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh,
Yes, Your
so
Honor.
physically and mentally hectic.
Yes, Your Honor.
So is it safe to say there was a lot of sex going on during that time?
Yes, Your Honor.
Much of which you may not have a full recollection.
Correct, Your Honor.
How long did your sexual relationship with Miss Hampton last?
We got together. We were together for maybe a couple of weeks, and then she disappeared. And then we meet again a few years later. So it was like that.
So you all just were kind of sex partners?
Yes.
Just
Correct, Your Honor.
Whatever.
Yes, Your Honor.
I don't know, what's the word? Friends with benefits.
Friends with benefits.
But were y'all friends? I don't even get the friend part here.
Yeah.
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Bump and go.
Bump and go.
Yeah.
Okay, Jerome. Is that a legal term that we just created here at
created it,
Paternity
yeah.
Court? Okay. So, Ms. Lindsey, your mother's saying that Mr. Dannenbrink is not your biological father.
Right.
What leads you to not believe your mother?
The doctors did say that I was born a month early, but they also said that I was going to be a boy the entire time she was pregnant with me. So they could have been wrong. Second thing, my mom does admit to having a child with Mr. Dannenbrink. Throughout my life, though, the dates have kind of changed a little bit. I remember at one time it was that she was an older sister. Then I remember at another time she was a younger sister than me. And she was stillborn at birth.
Hold on now.
Your Honor.
Wait a minute. So you've been told a story
Yes.
by your mother that she did have a child with Mr. Dannenbrink.
Yes.
You were told this child passed away
Yes, at birth.
Yes.
at
Your Honor.
birth.
Yes, Your Honor. I had a stillborn.
And was that Mr. Dannenbrink's child?
Yes, Your Honor.
She
For-
never said nothing to me about that.
No. I
So-
admit that. I did not.
You never mentioned it to him?
No.
Miss Lindsey, I'm looking at your face. It doesn't seem like you're believing a lot of your mother's testimony.
I don't.
Why?
She says that she had this child. I've never seen the papers, although I've asked a few times. And on top of that one, I've went to the public records place. There's no proof of her birth or death.
I don't know why there wouldn't be any record of her birth and death, but I do have an autopsy report.
Have you seen this report?
No.
What I don't understand, Ms. Lindsey, is why would your mother lie about this?
Because it's not the first time. She didn't technically lie about another brother, but she didn't tell me about another brother. She got pregnant and gave him up for adoption. It went through social media that he found me. And I'm like, wait, what are you talking about? You're not my brother. And I called my mom at that time and I said, I have another brother? And she's like, oh, well, I thought he died. And I was like, what? And
Wait a minute, you thought he died?
It was complicated, Your Honor. I had gotten pregnant by a man that was married, not knowing that he was married. The agreement was that he was going to take the baby because I financially and mentally could not handle having another baby.
But you thought he had passed away?
Yes, Your Honor, because that's what my mother and the doctors had told me.
So, Ms. Lindsey, even if we have several stories that lead us to believe maybe your mother is not being completely forthright,
right.
why? What is her motivation? What is the reason why she would lie and say Mr. Dannenbrink is not your biological father if he could be?
I don't know. I'm not my mom, so I don't know exactly what goes through her head. I have children, and I don't lie to any of them, so I don't understand why.
Are you at the
would.
point now
But I-
where you just feel like you've caught your mom in so many lies that you don't even know
Yeah, I
why
don't.
she lies, you just know she does?
No, Your Honor, I don't.
So what was your childhood like growing up? All of these stories. What is this like for you?
Very crazy as a child. I had a big hole and I filled it with a lot of things that probably weren't the right things to fill it with. I'm still searching for that father figure. I had a stepdad at one point that abandoned me as well, so.
And so you had a relationship
Yes,
with your stepfather.
for a small time until he had his own child with my mom. And then I still was the stepchild. So,
And so you're basically alone in all of this.
kind of, sort of. I mean, I had my friends for a small time, which is kind of funny. I had one friend that was like my best friend, and it just happened to be his son.
Wait, that could potentially be your brother.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you all were good friends?
Yes.
Just friends, I hope.
Yes, Your Honor. That goes through my head,
Yes.
trust and believe me. Not knowing exactly who my dad is, it does go through my head as to which ones I've dated might have been. So I just try not to think about that.
Wow, yeah. Listen, we can chuckle about it, but the truth is, if you don't know who your father is,
Right.
you could have dated your brother.
Yes.
And it's just that simple.
Yeah.
And so you have a photo that you've submitted to the court.
Yes. That is his son and myself.
Do you see a resemblance?
A little bit.
Just a little?
Yeah, because I mean, I do look like my mom a lot.
Mr. Dannenbrink, do you see a resemblance?
I do not, Your Honor.
Okay. So, Ms. Lindsey, what's your relationship like with Mr. Dannenbrink right now?
I want to say he's kind of like a father figure to a point. We kind of joke about him being my dad and me being his daughter.
How do you
And
joke about it?
Just randomly, like people will say, oh, you guys look alike or something like that and things like that. Or he'll say, oh, good morning, my beautiful daughter or something. And I've never had that before, so that's good.
Does he know your children?
Yes, all 4 of my children. They don't have grandpas that are alive. So he has graciously told my children that they're more than welcome to call him grandpa.
Oh.
That's right.
And they do.
You've submitted a letter to the court about how much this truly hurts you. Will you please read that letter?
Yes, I can. I said, 35 years I have walked through this life wondering who I am, whose blood runs through me. Who do I look like? Where do I get my eye color from? Where do I get my nose? These are just a few questions that have plagued my mind. The worst ones, though, are the ones that still hurt me. The questions like, why did you leave? Did you even know about me? If you did, would it have even changed anything? And would you have been proud of me? Why was I not good enough?
Take your time, honey.
From the moment that I can remember, I've always really wanted just my dad.
That was honest and true and real and plain. You know, as I sit in this chair day after day, a lot of times people will say, well, it's gone on 30-something years. I mean, why aren't you past this? When I say it was honest and true and simple and plain, because it was the spirit of a child. And it is your inner child. It's that child in you that still does not have the pieces to her puzzle that she deserves. And that child is going to live on, and she's going to want those answers and need those answers. And when you hear those words, Mom, does it hurt you to hear?
Well, yes, Your Honor, it does. But I still stand firm that Mr. Dannenbrink is not her dad.
And Mr. Dannenbrink, when you heard those words, I see how emotional you are. Yeah. What are you feeling in this moment?
Don't think she is my daughter, but I'm hoping she is.
That's beautiful. I think it's time for the results. Jerome? These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Lindsey versus Dannenbrink, when it comes to 35-year-old Bobby Lindsey, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Dannenbrink, you are not her father.
Sorry. It doesn't matter. I consider her my daughter.
How are you feeling, Miss Lindsey? I know this was difficult for you.
Confused, but I'm happy at the same time for closure on that part.
Miss Hampton,
Yes, ma'am.
I have to ask you, do you know who your daughter's biological father is?
I still stand firm that it's another person. He would admit to photographs because he's seen photographs of her through my mother, but physically he would not admit it.
Do you know where he is?
No, Your Honor, I don't.
Do you have any way to find out?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Rubin, you and your sister are here today because you say that the defendant, Mr. Davis, the man you've always been told was your dad, is now stating that he is not your biological father. You say his actions are motivated by greed and he has torn your family apart. Mr. Davis, you claim you have legitimate reasons to deny paternity and claim to be a good man with grave concerns for the Rubins' well-being. All right, Ms. Rubin, when did the defendant start denying he was your father?
He always denied me. He always treated me differently. I just feel like he never treated me fair. With my brother and sister, he will bring things around like one Christmas, he bring a whole bunch of toys around, get them toys on top of toys, and then tell them, oh, play with your sister. Never brought me anything, always treated me differently. It's just, he never showed no love towards me. I'm always the one that was begging for his love when he was just giving all his love to both of them. And I felt like that was wrong.
And how did you feel about it?
I didn't like it at all because that was my little sister. I mean, we all his kids. Why he just won't do for her, but do for us?
And you noticed this. You could see this as a child.
Yeah.
Now, Mr. Davis, is this true?
Yes, it is.
It is?
It is.
That's a shame.
And
Okay.
I'll tell you why, Your Honor.
Yes, please.
The reason why I treated Cheryl the way I treated her, because her mother slept around.
You was a liar.
Your mother did sleep. Okay, first of all, neither one of you all was in there when it started, okay? She had 3 kids before I met her.
Okay,
she had
don't
you
mean
3,
she slept around.
supposedly
She
had
was
you
with
3
him
with me.
first.
And now she has,
don't mean
how
she
many
slept
more after
around.
me?
She was
I
with
get a
him
grand
first.
total of 13?
Come on, you ain't did
13
nothing
kids?
anyways. You
Ladies
nothing.
and gentlemen.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, in order for me to be able to understand what has happened, I have to be able to hear what has happened. And I can't understand you when you're all talking over one another.
You're right, Your Honor.
Mr. Davis, you believe their mother had slept around and was
Exactly.
unfaithful to you. You were
Exactly.
in a relationship at the
Exactly.
time, which caused you to then doubt whether or not you were her father in particular.
Not necessarily her.
All the children?
You're correct. You're correct.
Okay. Did you express this concern to her?
No, I didn't express it to her.
You
no.
just always kept it to
I
yourself?
kept it to myself.
Mr. Davis, I need to know from you whether you ever were in all of their lives as a father. Were you ever just there?
Were you talking to me?
I was talking to you.
Then shut up.
Now you
Oh,
shut up.
no.
You shut up.
Mr. Davis, first of all, I control this courtroom. Now, you can take it to the street and you'll be out on the street. Because we're not going to act a fool in here. Now, you came to get some answers, and I'm going to try to give it to you. Don't think for 1 minute that I am minimizing the pain and the anguish and the absolute frustration that I see all of you feel. But unless you give each other a chance to talk, we cannot get down to the facts. You want answers, you got to let them talk. Might not be what you want to hear, but at least you know. What would make a man go to the store and get toys for 2 of 3 children and walk into a house and disappoint a child for no reason? You should have brought her a toy if she wasn't your child, if she was your enemy's child. You should have brought her something because she's a child. That's what I want you to try to explain to this court.
As I said before, their mother slept around. She slept
Okay.
around. When we first got together, when I first met her, she was working at a restaurant. That's when I first spotted her. Of course, being the man that I am, okay, and I'm not gonna say I was an angel, because I wasn't.
Okay,
You know, I slept around too before I met her.
okay.
So, you know, it wasn't like I was a deadbeat, as they may want to presume that I was, but I was not a deadbeat. if they knew the whole picture instead of half the picture.
So when you were
I believe I was talking to the judge.
When
I
you
believe
were
I was
in
talking to the judge.
relationship with their mother, you would have a child, but then you'd question whether or not that child was yours.
Exactly.
But then you'd end up back in the relationship
We seesaw back and forth
only
together.
to have another child.
I don't even know if that child's mine either.
Then you question if
Exactly.
it was yours.
Right. After my first
If
child,
you
like I said, when I
doing
met
all
her,
of that, if
and she
you-
had 3 kids before I met her.
That has nothing to do with what's going on now.
You know, while we was
Okay,
while we was having a
why you
relationship,
study
I don't
freaking
believe I was.
information?
I believe the judge was talking to me.
Why make
I-
broken
that
promises then?
Okay,
Why sit right
that's-
there and act like
that's
everything
on
cool?
me.
Like
That's on me.
graduation.
I own
That was
that.
I
That's on
told
me.
you. I said
Can
I
I
forgive
answer-
you.
can I answer your
I
question?
forgive
Can I
you
answer
for
your question?
everything you
Can
ever
I
did.
answer your question?
If you show up to my
Let her talk,
graduation,
Mr. Davis.
what did you do?
First of all,
Mr.
that is a
Davis,
lie.
Mr. Davis, let her speak. Let her speak. I want her to explain to you.
I asked you, 2005, that's the last time I seen your face since 2013. I asked you, I say, all you gotta do, I forgive you for everything you ever done wrong to me, if you doubted me or whatever the case is. Show up to my graduation. You can say I'm lying or whatever, I can tell my brother right here to vouch for it.
I told you myself and told you about her graduation too.
I
So you
said
can't lie about that.
I said 2 tickets for you and Carlita.
At the end of the day, when you called to confirm or when you walked that stage, he wasn't there.
You mean when she alleged
He's
to
never
call?
been
She
there.
never called me. She never called me. Period. And
The Lord is gonna send you straight to hell
well,
with these lies.
we won't be going. I won't be going
swear to
alone.
God.
I won't be going alone.
You is
I will not be going alone.
I understand that you're saying this relationship was on and off. You were kind of out there. She was maybe cheating. But you're saying that this happened throughout the relationship. Why so much difference when it comes to Miss Rubin? Cheryl, why so much difference when it comes to her?
As I explained to you before, Anna, I had my doubts because their mother slept around, not only on me, but before
why
me.
do you act that doubt out? Why is
I
it that
treated Jonathan-
your doubt is projected onto
I
her
treated Jonathan
singly?
and Janita. I actually embraced them. Matter of fact, I treated her like gold, just like my oldest child.
If I'm your golden child, you would have been there for your golden child.
Really? Okay.
Even if you not giving up money, call, come see. Every time I talk to him, he ain't got no money
You
to do
never talked to
nothing.
me.
You know, use a lie.
No, talk to
And as
the
that,
court.
I didn't have a man figure like in my life to tell me how to treat guys. I guys treat me, so you know, I look the guys like for love and everything. Like again, like them 1 minute and be gone next minute. I can have sex 1 minute and be gone or whatever. It's just like he have not been.
So you were sleeping around, you were promiscuous, you could not,
Apple don't fall too far from the
you
tree.
feel like you were looking for a father? Leave it alone and talk to me because he's showing who he is by his statements. Leave it alone. Mr. Davis, all I'm suggesting to you is as you condemn their mother, keep in mind you've already admitted to the court that you were in an on and off relationship with her for many years. So you say the apple can't fall too far from the
They said it
tree
was Angel
criticizing her. What I'm saying to you is that you were with their mother,
Exactly.
Why you
whether
stay
or not
throwing
they're
her
your
in and
children
why
or
you stay
not.
throwing her in? If you're talking about me, why you stay throwing her in?
You know, you're right. I
Obviously,
never
something
said I was
still
an
there that
angel.
you
I never
want.
said I did anything that was halo.
I want to hear from the plaintiff's witness. Sir, would you please state your name?
My name is Jonathan Rubin.
Hello, Mr.
How you
Rubin.
doing?
Now, you contend that you are Mr. Davis's son, am I
Yes.
correct? And you are Ms. and Ms. Rubin's brother.
Yes.
What do you have to say about this?
As far as me hearing about this DNA test, it surprised me because you asked for a DNA test and you claim I'm yours, you know what I'm saying? And then I hear that it's about disease in the family. Why would you wait after 27 years just to come to me with this? It's something you should have told me on the phone through something. Let me know
Can I
what's
address that,
happening.
Your
It's
Honor?
about child
Can I
support.
address
So
that, Your
now,
Honor?
disease in the family. Mr. Davis,
Okay, here's what I mean by the disease in the family. I want my kids, if they are my kids, I want them to be protected. But I at least want them to know exactly what could be coming their way. Okay? I lost my father to prostate cancer. I lost my mother to sepsis.
so there are various illnesses in your family, and you are concerned.
I'm concerned for my kids because, like I said, my daddy died of prostate cancer. But he treated them
Okay,
like I'm treating
and
them. He
to-
treated me the same way.
And
so I understand
this
where they're
is
coming from.
purely altruistic. I mean, this is out of the goodness of your heart that you really want to take this
They
DNA
need to know
test.
as well as I need to know for our peace of mind, plus financially. It's been killing me. I'm not running around rolling in a Rolls Royce. I'm not walking around with no Rolex watch.
Mr. Rubin, thank you so much for your testimony. You may have a seat. Mr. Davis, were you paying the child support?
Yes, ma'am.
How long have you paid it?
I've been paying this child support since 1993.
So where's that?
they've
So
been,
where's that?
I have proof
We
to
don't
show
know
what I've
where
been
it's
paying.
at.
I don't know where it's
We
going.
don't know where it's at.
I went to the Children and Family Services.
Let's have some order. Ladies, how far behind do you think he
I think
is?
about $7,000
never
behind.
started.
Probably that too.
Now, Mr. Davis, are you behind in child support
Yes,
payments?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any idea how much?
My rough guess, like I said, I have proof showing here from 2012.
What proof is that you're saying?
Okay, this proof shows the date, the last date, which is in pink, as you can see here. It says
Jerome,
the
can you hand that to me, please?
September of
I can put that up
2012. And it shows that average is right there. It says 48,000. Once they update everything.
$48,000.
That's what I'm saying there. But like I said,
That's what
it's
he paid?
probably the last count I got was 60,000.
true.
And I don't know where the money's going from because they garnish every check I ever gotten. I don't quit my jobs because I'm paying child support and run up to another job. I don't do that.
probably do.
I stick up to my responsibility because that's the reason.
Carlita's paying.
I was there. Carlita's paying for me to survive.
Carlita is
That's she's paying for me to
paying.
survive.
Mr. Davis, I will see this. I see small payments here
I have
throughout the years
I have
that
nothing
you've
to
been
do with how
making
the system.
payments. What I'm trying to understand is this whole issue with you and the DNA test and wanting to know whether or not you're really their father, is this really about the illnesses or is this about this huge
It's both.
child support
It is
debt?
both. It is both. It is both.
Which one
Regardless
weigh
of what
the
they want to
most?
say,
Child support.
and neither one outweighs the other.
I would like to hear
I
from
go
your
to the
wife.
doctor.
Please step up to the podium, ma'am. State your name.
My name is Carlita Davis.
Hi, Miss Davis.
How are you doing?
So please tell me this child support situation and this huge debt that
Yes.
he owes. Are you aware that he was making these payments?
The point of it is they take it. I've been married to Johnny 22 years. Never an income tax check has came into our house. It goes to y'all. I don't know where. I filed with my husband, with my 3 children that I have. They took it. It took me 3 years to fight to get back $700 for my
your
3
refund.
children, of my money. This is what I'm saying.
But
I
if
don't
they
know.
are
shouldn't have
his
to.
children,
It's not
if in
you.
fact they
It's
are
me.
his children,
Yes.
he should be paying
And
child support.
I don't knock him not paying it. But what I'm saying to you is they take it out the check. They take the income tax. I mean, if I didn't work, he wouldn't have anywhere to stay.
Thank you so much,
Wait,
Ms.
can I
Davis,
ask
for
a
your
question
testimony.
first?
Well, actually, you're supposed to ask the question to the court or talk to the court, not to
sorry.
her. But
Well-
what is it that you are curious about?
Because I want to know, because she ain't never lied to me, not one time in my life.
So you have a good regard
Are you
for
here
Ms. Davis?
because it's child support? Be honest.
No, darling. I'm not just here because of child support. No, and I
Now,
would
I
just
got
tell
love for you. If you
and I
lied
got
to
love
me-
for you too.
Right,
And
we
I'm
don't
not
have
gonna
anything
lie.
against you, Carlita.
I
It's
know.
just Johnny.
I know.
It's not
What's
you.
the matter, Cheryl?
It's not you.
Cheryl, I see when you were speaking to Ms. Davis, you were more emotional than when you were speaking to Mr. Davis.
She treats me right.
Okay.
When he treated me differently from both of them, she was the person right there. Don't do her like that. Show her love. Treat her the same way. She was always the mediator. So of course I love her. I got a lot of love for her.
This has really hurt you. I can see that.
It pisses me off. It does.
There is no child that should have to go through what you went through. Like I said, I don't care if you were his enemy's child. There should have been a toy there for you as well.
True.
Because you were a child. I want you to tell Mr. Davis, why do you have those tears? What is that hurt specifically? Let him know what that is.
How you gonna treat them two just so holy? And she didn't even care. She didn't even want to be around you. I'm the one chasing after your love. Then you get up here and you want to act like all this never happened. Come on, dude, miss me with all that.
I know that's right.
Come on. As far as a relationship, any of that, all that's out the door. I don't want to talk to him, lose my number. Don't try to contact me. None of that. I don't want none of it.
Mr. Davis, those are really strong words to hear from 2 women that could potentially be your daughters.
It hurts. It does. And I was wrong. And I'm not saying I was right. Nothing I did
just
to
say you was
Cheryl
right.
was right. I should not. You're right, Yana. If I've run the one toward, but I was not thinking like that. I was young. I was not thinking. I didn't use my head. I used the, but I didn't use the right head. I did not use the right head when I came to see her. But if they
But he
denied,
just wanna
there's
come out.
nothing I could do. I did make an
I'd
effort.
like to have you step to the podium, please. And I think it's time for us to learn the results so that all of us can finally know whether or not you two are family. All of you are family, I should say. Jerome, do you have the first envelope?
Your Honor.
So we've administered a test for each child because you said you have doubts about all three.
Yes.
And this first test relates to Jonathan Rubin. In the case of Jonathan Rubin, it has been determined by this court that Mr. Johnny Davis, you are his father.
Yeah, I never had no doubts in that one.
Mr. Davis, you told me you had to doubt on every child.
I said I was having all of them tested because I had doubts in their mother. That's the reason why I said I was having them tested.
But so that means you had doubts about Jonathan.
Yes, that's what you said.
I was there. Jonathan was there. I had to have. I mean, it was all three of them. Okay.
The doubt has now been put to rest for Jonathan. Moving on. As it relates to Miss Janita Rubin, it has been determined by this court that Mr. Davis, you are the father. So this can be a laughing matter maybe to you, but I am hoping that you can support your sister Cheryl.
Yes.
Because she's the one that always felt different. Because this is a big moment for her, and you deserve to know. Jerome, please. In the case of Cheryl Rubin, this court has determined that you are
Tick,
her father.
You already knew that. Already knew that.
What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? Child support. Here I come.
I don't worry about it. Come with it.
Yeah.
It's continuing. They ain't stopped yet. So why should it stop now?
You're doing this, and I want you to do this.
Just know you losing.
Good. Now I got something to show the judge. Now I got something to show the
So
judge.
therefore, it's like you got one.
Copy of that.
I find it interesting that you're reducing this now to the child support. That now it's all about just pay the money and we don't have anything to do with you. But the emotions that I saw displayed earlier today, it didn't have anything to do with the child support. You all were talking about how he wasn't there.
Yeah.
What you came in here believing as truth is truth. Mr. Davis is your father, all three of you. One thing the court can't order is for you all to get along and act maturely and try to have a relationship.
Exactly.
But what I can encourage you to do is to make apologies for the things you know you did wrong by these children, because at the end of the day, they're only here because you made them.
Exactly.
And all they wanted from you was love and attention, what every child wants. There's so much going on here, and only you can start making amends for this and start changing it. I wish you the best. Court is adjourned.